Good morning and welcome to your daily morning horoscope for Monday, January 5th, 2026, Aries. You may be feeling a bit overwhelmed with the combination of professional and social obligations. If you're doing any entertainment tonight, see if you can drum up some extra help. Cater parts of the dinner if possible, or at least hire someone to help with the dishes. It's hard enough to entertain and keep the guests happy, so please don't try to be a superhero. Taurus, you could be feeling the push-pull of internal desires versus external demands today. As much as you want to stay in bed today with covers pulled over to your chin, the world is clamoring for your attention. Your phone rings off the hook and your email box is filled quickly until you empty it. Just today, you wish everyone would go away. At last, no such luck. Promise yourself that you'll indulge in some relaxation once you get home. Hopefully, no one will come pounding at the door. Gemini, when it comes to home improvement, there is something to be said for immediate gratification. Today you could find yourself helping out to do some necessary shopping. Think carefully about what you truly need to improve your home over the long run. Fashion could come and go, and following them can be expensive undertaking. You would be better off buying those items that will match your true style. You may not purchase as much, but what you do buy will have lasting value. Cancer, you really don't need to prove anything to anyone. You may be feeling a bit of pressure to get a lot of work done, but some projects, especially those that require creativity, simply can't be rushed. You will find that if you take your time and allow your muse to work this magic, you will produce something of real merit in the end. If, however, you try to rush, your time will likely be spent in vain. Leo, you have so many talents and such a range of abilities that sometimes it's hard for you to know what to devote your efforts to. Don't make your usual mistake of trying to do everything. Even when you have your limits, you would be better off taking a step back from the situation to prioritize your enormous to-do list. Concentrate on just one or two items, rather than mingling big jobs with small ones. Virgo, it seems that you're ready for a major change in your life, but take care you don't implement change morality in the sake of change. Think carefully about how you want to really do it. Some introspection just might reveal the changes that you seek, that are minor or rather than major. You may simply want to begin working on your health a bit more. Jogging a few days a week and vowing to eat salads at lunch rather than sandwiches may bring about wonderful ripple effects on the health and well-being in your life. Libra, you have a keen mind and are always absorbing new bits of information. What is amazing is how much of it that you manage to retain. Today, however, even your considerable brain may be taxed beyond its limits. At work, you may feel overwhelmed by the mass of information to sort through. At home, there may be books and magazines piled up that you're anxious to read. Consider taking this evening off from intellectual pursuits. There is something to be said for passive entertainment. Scorpio, take care not to take on too much today. Your intentions are certainly good and your motivation pure, but even you are limited by the fact that there are only 24 hours in a day. Pick and choose your commitments carefully today to ensure that you can actually do what you say you will do. You'll be more effective and get more satisfaction out of devoting your energy to just a few causes. Sagittarius, don't take anything at face value today, especially if it involves money. It is likely that a friend or colleague will approach you with a deal that is too good to pass up. Don't let yourself get caught up in the promise of quick riches. Any deal that is presented as too good to be true usually is. Take in the information and review it at a later time. You will find that flaws are revealed once colors prevail. Capricorn, you may find yourself overwhelmed by information today, but by midday both your voice box and email could be full. It seems everyone needs a piece of you today. Don't try to accomplish anything that people expect of you today. It simply isn't possible. Instead, make your own decisions about what is important and what isn't. You may get some resistance from the higher-ups, but in the end, they will see the wisdom of your thinking. Aquarius, even though you might have to work today, you should still try and take things fairly easy. You'll just be not ready for embracing the workload, but with your usual vigor, be sure to eat a healthy breakfast and lunch as your body may be rebelling from some recent indulgences. Soup and salads are advisable for lunch, along with plenty of water. By the day's end, you will feel your energy begin to return. Pisces, you can't force creativity, not even you. As much as you want to produce something fantastic right this minute, you will find that the mere mortals such as us need the help of the creative muse. And at last, the muse is a fickle being. You can't just snap your finger and summon it. You must coax it out, slowly, gently. This is all it takes. It takes time, but the end result makes the effort worthwhile. For now, you must sit and wait and trust that it will come to you. This has been your daily morning horoscope for Monday, January 5th, 2026. Do have yourself a great and wonderful day.
here you are, the first interaction in the brand new year 2026. We made it. Here we are. We are grateful. We are absolutely grateful that we made it to this neck of the woods. But guess what? This is not something to take lightly because a lot of people didn't make it across here. So you now have a responsibility to ask yourself, the fact that I'm here, what is the most high reason for safeguarding me to bring me across to this side? Because it's not just like that you made it over to this end, right? There's a purpose, there's a mission. So I want you to put some effort into this year, into finding out what that mission is and start pouring into that. Well, that is how I intend to approach the new year. So hopefully you're going to put some thought into that direction as well. But good morning. Welcome. Welcome to a brand new year. Welcome to the morning show here on DBS. Let's go on over to our news department. Wonderful. Thank you, newsroom. Let's take a break and come right back.
Good morning. We start today with reflection on 25 years ago when the quiet reverence of New Year's Eve at the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in Castries was shattered by a senseless act of violence that claimed the lives of Sister Teresa Egan and Father Charles Gaylord, leaving the nation in mourning during that time. As St. Lucia reflects on this tragedy, the Roman Catholic Church is building a shrine in their honor, a space for remembrance, healing, and a solemn reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring need for unity and compassion.
This year, to mark the 25th anniversary, the church is going to be commemorating their martyrdom in a big way. So we'll be building a big shrine. So it's going to be part of what's called community tourism. So at the back of the cathedral there will be a shrine which symbolizes the three martyrs, and it's going to be the whole story will be there. We will be laying out also not only just the story of the martyrs, but also the story of the entire Catholic Church.
Monsignor Anthony is calling on St. Lucians to practice religious tolerance, unity, and to refrain from violence and to respect human life. Now, every January, we turn the page with hope, filling the new chapter with resolutions. But by February, that hope often fades, leaving a familiar feeling of frustration. Why do so many of our best intentions for change dissolve so quickly? The answer, according to a mental health expert, isn't a lack of willpower, it's a lack of a roadmap.
It should be a plan that is not complicated. You know, we always talk about what they call SMART goals. Goals or plans that are very specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time sensitive. And so if it's simple enough and it's structured in such a way, the years won't have to pass us by all the time and we wonder where did everything go? We should be able to see something concrete at the end of the year if we look at it that way.
He encourages individuals to examine their emotional well-being as it affects the spiritual, physical, and cognitive functions. He advises anyone whose emotional well-being or health may be affecting the quality of their life and those around them to see a trained professional who can offer some kind of help. Now, as 2025 came to an end, the St. Lucia Fire Service, the St. Lucia Fire and Emergency Services that is, reflected on a year of service and community response, handling emergencies of every kind across the island. Over the course of 2025, the Fire and Emergency Services responded to a total of 13,480 calls, showcasing the wide range of challenges faced by the island's first responders. Fire emergencies accounted for 679 calls, including house, commercial, industrial, and vehicle fires, as well as bushfires and smoke alarms. Meanwhile, medical emergencies dominated the service's workload with 6,723 calls for urgent situations like cardiac arrests, respiratory distress, and other critical health concerns. Now, non-emergency calls, which included public assistance, safety inspections, and minor investigations, those totaled 3,884, while 2,194 trauma-related calls involving accidents, falls, and injuries from violent incidents. The figures reflect not only the dedication and readiness of St. Lucia's Fire and Emergency Services, but also the diverse needs of the community they serve every day. As the nation looks ahead to 2026, the Fire Service emphasizes the importance of vigilance, preparedness, and cooperation to ensure the safety and well-being of all St. Lucian citizens. Lisa Jawahir was officially taken in, or has officially taken in, the reins as the new Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and Climate Change. On her first day, she moved directly from ceremony to business, convening a meeting with senior ministry staff.
It has certainly been very interesting orienting into the ministry and understanding the various departments, their roles, where they have been able to achieve their goals, the challenges they have, where I come in to help streamline a lot of the departments and to address some of their challenges, but really to share the vision of the government as it relates to strengthening our systems for food security, in addition to introducing innovation or innovative techniques in agriculture. And when I speak of introducing, I know that technology has been a serious part of agriculture over the last few years, but however, getting a bit more serious in it.
And those meetings signal the new minister's immediate focus on tackling the intertwined challenges of food security, marine resources and environmental resilience, all under a very broad portfolio. These are your top stories. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Well, kicking off a brand new year, you know, it's imperative on us to be able to start on the right note. Starting off on the right note is very, very, very important for us. So remember the last time we had an opportunity and I told you to close off the year, we had some insight from a gentleman, a psychologist, mental wellness personnel, and we closed off the year on that note. But we had quite a sit down with this gentleman and there was some tea in there, you know, and we don't want you to miss any of it. So you know what? This entire program to kick off this brand new year, we plan to give you the rest of that tea because it's vital and it might serve somebody's purpose or maybe all of us' purpose. So here is Mr. Fearon again with some tea, you know, on the importance of, you know, our mental health, our reset, and the importance of ensuring that we do just that. I'm here with Mr. Patrick Fearon, and those of you who knows him will probably get an instant idea as to why we are here, because we really want to tackle the importance of reset. When you're rounding off something and you're heading, especially a full year where you've had to deal with all sorts of things and then you're about to head into a brand new year, the importance on your mental, your psyche in terms of resetting to be able to start afresh. How important is that? How critical is that? Is that a thing, you know, because some of us think it is. Some of us underscores the importance of being able to do that on a personal level. But some people are not too sure. Some people are thinking, well, it's just a myth or it's just a thing. But the expert is here and he's going to guide us to if it's a myth or if it's something that is worth considering. Mr. Fearon, happy holidays. And of course, we want to wish you the best moving into 2026 as well. But thank you very much for agreeing to have that conversation with us.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. And it's totally my pleasure, my joy to be here to share some things on this vital topic of resetting. Now, you ask, is it a myth, as some people might suppose, or is this a real aspect of what we ought to be doing, who we are as persons? Yeah. It definitely is not a myth. And for those of you who are attuned to the created dimension of who we are, and you think about even from way back in biblical times, there was always this concept of humanity needing a reset. And you would see that even in just looking at the weekly cycle. 7 days in the week, 6 days, according to what we see in the Old Testament, you shall labor, do all your work, but the seventh day is like a reset. Yes. You also look at what the ancient Israelites had, where they looked at a 7-year reset even for the created land. They were particularly good at farming and they did very well. That was how they got their sustenance. But every 7th year, the land had to lie fallow. They could not be working it or anything because it was time for the land to reset, to regather itself, to put back the nutrients into it as it should. And then after that, you went into another process of a 7-year cycle. And it's the same principle you see like with what the Israelites again call the Jubilee, where after 7/7/49, after 49 years, 50th year was a Jubilee. Persons who had become broken or poor or they lost everything, it was a reset. And legally, they were all able to go back into that reset process. So, it's a good way to look at it from the standpoint of a created order. But just look at some very basic general concepts in life. We all know what a motor vehicle is.
Right.
And we're driving from one day into the next, into another week, into another month. Every one of us knows that sooner or later we'll have to pull over and do a reset. Otherwise, we'll just keep going and going and going. Before we know it, the vehicle would fall totally apart. Yes. So it is something that is built into who we are as persons, created into who we are as persons. And it is something that is so valuable, especially at this time of the year. Now, some people may not be too much in tune with, okay, it's a new year, resolutions, let's try to do this again. But that's not the issue. The issue is we have gone through a year.
Yeah.
We're now at today. A new year faces us. Some of us must be at that place where you recognize that emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, things have not been what we would like them to be. And in that instance, what we recognize that's needed, it's a reset.
Yeah.
What can we do to accomplish that reset? So it's a part of who we are as persons. It's a part of who we ought to be if we're going to be at full functionality,
Yes.
to recognize that as human beings we go through the process of life, and as we go through, just like the motor vehicle, just like anything else, it's time to pull over and assess to see where we have been going, how we have been doing, what do we need to change, how can we reassess and get on a better plane so that we can accomplish what life's purpose is for each of us.
Wonderful. You see, I'm telling you, it's a real thing. You understand, and I think it's very, very vital that we cause people to stop and think a little bit. Because even from yourself, if we are honest with ourselves, if we just keep rolling in and we roll into the new year, not a moment to just tap into, okay, just that little, and it could be the littlest of things, and I'm going to come to you in a minute for some little ways in which people can reset. You know, if we don't do that, what happens is that you feel almost bogged down going into a brand new year feeling it's the same old, same old. And that, of course, in itself gives you that sort of mental sort of tiredness, you know. And when you feel mentally drained or mentally tired, how effective can one be?
Definitely we can't be as effective as we ought to be. And I'm glad you bring in that analogy in that way, so I can bring in something that really puts everything together.
Wonderful. Now, like I said, we continue in the conversation. So now that we've underscored the importance, what are some of the ways? What are some of the little tips that we can definitely follow? You know, little things that we can actually do to help to realize, you know, that reset within ourselves. Let's find out again some more.
Yeah. So what is important, and if we could just go back a little, knowing ourselves as individuals, we are creatures of emotions, we are intellectual creatures, we have a spirit component to it, and we're physical creatures. So it is always the greatest thing for us to take an inventory of ourselves. Be honest with ourselves. Now, some people do journaling. Some people, they have their diary, they have some loose leaf papers that they write some things on. But every one of us, we need to take a real inventory of ourselves, including what might be defined as our purpose. Every one of us has that deep down somewhere inside of us. That's between each person and their creator. What is your purpose? Now, once you tap into that and you're honest with yourselves, what is your purpose? What is your goal for the year? How are you going to get to your goal or be in the journey, on the path to your goal? Now, once you have that settled, then you are able to then view yourself as being at a place where life is not going to take advantage of you, but you are going to take advantage of the possibilities in life. Because one of the things that many people do not recognize, they're going through the motions. Yes, my father used to use the analogy. He doesn't like growing up in Jamaica. He doesn't like people who just a galangso. You know, and what he meant, yeah, life is more than just going through the motions, but there is some purpose. So once you can tap into that purpose. Now, for some people, they may see their purpose very much attuned into their calling, like they may be a carpenter or a fisherman, builder, whatever it is. They want to make sure that they do it to the best of their ability. Now, I always tell people to understand this. We must not compare ourselves with others. There is that parable I like to refer persons to, where all of us, in looking at purpose, we were called by our Creator and we're given individual talents, individual pounds, and we were told that we should occupy, get busy, go through life until all is said and done. Now, some people are given 2, some people are given 5, some people are given 1. Now, if you look at it, even the person who got the 1, if he did what he had to do, he would end up with 2, let's say. It wouldn't even be even close to the guy who started out with 5. So that shows us that we're not in this business to compare ourselves against others, but we are to look at ourselves, assess who we are, and go forward doing and accomplishing what we have been given to do. And again, no task is too menial. No task is above or beneath our understanding of who we are as persons. Refer also to the concept of what I refer to as the body model concept. Again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. Every part of the body, eyes, nose, ears, kidneys, liver, you name it. Every part has a purpose, a function. And to the extent that every part is fully into being its best, it's to the extent the whole body is going to be fully functional. So if my heart today is focused on being its best self and accomplishing that, it is doing what it should. The lungs are doing the same, the kidneys doing their same, the liver doing its same, every part doing its best to accomplish whatever might be concluded to be its definitive role. That's just how we are as persons, and I can confidently use that analogy because, again, as a believer, the Apostle Paul, when he was speaking to the early church in Corinth and in Rome and in Ephesus, he used the analogy of the body. But if you want to understand your place in life and what you ought to be doing, look at the body. The parts don't compete against one another in any unhealthy way. Every part is truly focused on becoming its best self. And then in combination with the other best selves, that is where you have a fully functional system. Now, just imagine St. Lucia being that way. Every one of us, when we got up today, we are about that purpose of life where we're thinking about the society. Well, I'm the trash collector, I'm the police officer, I'm the fireman, I'm the nurse, I'm the doctor, I'm the teacher. And everybody is concentrating on being his or her best self, knowing that everybody else is thinking in the same way. Then what we're going to be having is a fully functional body, a fully functional society. Now, these are the things that I'm saying that they should be taught in the curriculum in schools from pre-kindergarten. children should be made to understand it's not about competing against you or doing this against you or hating you or criticizing or condemning you or judging you or doing whatever, but recognize we all have a purpose. Now, again, let's look at the resetting again. You do that assessment, your purpose, who you are. And you have that as your frame of reference as you go through each day, knowing that you are a part of the bigger system, of the bigger body. You're part of the whole. And if you concentrate then on being your best self, knowing that it is going to bear fruit in furtherance of the system, the whole body, then you're at a great place. Now, because we're flesh and blood and we're susceptible to all kinds of things, ever so often on this journey, we'll realize that we're not measuring up or something is lacking and I need something else. And that is where we have the reset. That is where you pull over and say, you know, I know I'm the heart or I'm the lungs, but I hear a knocking, I hear a wheezing. And I'm not so sure what that is. But you go to the source and there will be persons in the system who are trained, qualified. Like the other day I got my car, I had to spend a few $1,000s, but it got up and running again as new. There are persons equipped in every part of a dimension of society who will be able to do what needs to be done and to get you back up and running. And that is what we need. And if we can build this into the curriculum, into the thinking pattern as to who we are as persons, as a society, then we're at a good place. And anytime we find ourselves being, because we're keeping a record as to how we're doing, when we find ourselves deviating anyway from what we ought to be doing in terms of our goal and who we are, then we know we need a reset. We need that reset. Mm-hmm.
So, in closing, a reset is not a myth. It's absolutely necessary. And this is a professional himself letting you know in his line of work that is absolutely something that is needed as a human being. You need to reset. So don't feel guilty. Don't let anybody make you feel guilty. If you feel the need to pull over and check on your parts, now is the time to do so. That's when you're feeling it. Don't feel guilty. Do just that. And then you'll be able to come back and operate at your optimum self. Well, guess what? Mr. Fearon did mention it. So we're holistic beings. So not only do we nourish the mental or the emotional side of us or the spiritual side of us, there's also that nourishing of the physical as well. So when you're thinking about how it is that you're going to care for yourself going forward into this new year, you've got to think about nourishing not just the spiritual, emotional, you've got to also nourish the body. So let's go on over to SocaCize and let's start off by nourishing our body as well.
It's time to rise, shine, and wine with SocaCize. Leading the wine, we have Serena, Vernell, and Shani. Let's get ready to sweat with SocaCize. Get ready to flaunt with one of your favorites from the road for Cardio Soca Jam.
Hey, get what you have there? Get my tailor. Oh Lord, get my tailor. This one is for the road. Get my tailor. What? Get my tailor. Bang, 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 bang. True load in the place.
4, 3, 2, 1, and
hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy. Come on, body tippy, tippy. Miss Grippy, Grippy. Miss Grippy, Grippy. Hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy.
3.
Come bubble and city, city.
We're gonna hop forward and back. And
behind the truck, y'all, my tailor. Behind the truck, y'all, my tailor.
one more,
Behind
hold
the
it.
truck, y'all, my tailor. My tailor, my tailor.
And
behind the truck, y'all, my tailor. Behind the truck, y'all, my tailor.
hold it.
Behind the truck, y'all, my tailor. My tailor.
Twist and
Miss Grippy, I heard you got the sticky. I
4,
need some of that
3,
quickly, but don't give me no
2, bend
hickey. Just
down.
bend over.
Drop it.
Bang, 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 bang.
Bend down.
Over. Oh, yeah.
Drop. Cross. And
Hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy. Come wine for the tippy, tippy. Miss Grippy, Grippy. Miss Grippy, Grippy. Hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy. Come bubble and city, city. Miss Grippy, Grippy.
up.
Miss Grippy, Grippy.
And
behind the truck, y'all, my tailor. Behind the truck, y'all, my tailor.
4, 3, 2, bend. Drop it. And
Hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy, come wine for the tippy, tippy. Miss Grippy, Grippy, Miss Grippy, Grippy. Hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy, come bubble and city, city. Miss Grippy, Grippy, Miss Grippy, Grippy. Behind the truck, y'all mateda. Behind the truck, y'all mateda. Behind the truck, y'all mateda. Mateda, mateda. Behind the truck, y'all mateda. Behind the truck, y'all mateda. Behind the truck, y'all mateda. Mateda.
twist, stand.
Miss Grippy, I heard you got the sticky. I need some of that quickly, but don't give me no hickey.
Bend it. Drop, drop. Bend. Drop. Cross. And
Hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy, come wine for the tippy, tippy. Miss Grippy, Grippy, Miss Grippy, Grippy. Hello, Miss Grippy, Grippy, come bubble and city, city. Miss Grippy, Grippy.
Yes.
that was this morning's session. We hope you are feeling sexy, sultry, and strong. Thank you for choosing to flaunt with SocaCize on This Morning on DBS.
Wonderful, guys. Well, there you go. That is our show. Well, listen, we specifically chose to do the show like this morning. We thought it would have been a very good idea to start you off on that kind of vibe. And we hope you appreciate it. Well, I really do hope you appreciate it. But nonetheless, this is the first Monday in the year 2026. Let's see what 2026 has to hold. We are back here on the morning show, and we are looking forward to another bumper year in your company, bringing you all of the great stuff. We look for the adventures we're about to go on, and we give thanks and praise and ask the Most High to continue to guide us during this new year as well as we go on this journey together. Enjoy the rest of your first Monday in the year 2026, and let's do this again tomorrow for another DBS This Morning.